A heartbreaking message from Catherine, Princess of Wales, has leaked, and it's shaken the royal family to its core. In it, she writes, "I can't protect them anymore," referring to her daughter, Princess Charlotte. Who leaked it, and why now? The palace is silent, but the world is listening. The message that shocked the palace. A message no one was ever meant to see has sent shockwaves through the royal household. Allegedly penned by Catherine, Princess of Wales, the private note contains just 6 devastating words. "I can't protect them anymore." And while it was never meant for public eyes, someone, from deep inside the royal circle, leaked it. The note, described as raw and desperate, wasn't official. It wasn't drafted by aides or approved by protocol. It was deeply emotional, written during what insiders are now calling a moment of crisis for Catherine. And when it surfaced, silence fell across Kensington Palace, a silence that said more than words ever could. The message was reportedly shared with a trusted confidant, possibly a longtime aide or someone from Catherine's private team. But somewhere along the line, that trust was broken. Now the message is out, and royal watchers are left piecing together what could have driven Catherine to write something so vulnerable and so final.
But who exactly are them?
While the note doesn't name names, sources close to the situation say the message refers directly to her children, and specifically to Princess Charlotte. The phrase wasn't spoken in anger. It wasn't part of a royal document. It was a cry from a mother, worn down by years of pressure, intrusion, and fear. No one expected this. Not the palace, not Prince William, not even those closest to Catherine. And that's what makes the silence from the royal institution so deafening. No denial, no clarification, no spin. Just a tight-lipped wall, the kind that usually confirms what no one wants to admit. It's real. One former palace staffer was blunt. If that message had been fake, they would have squashed it within hours. But they didn't. So what exactly was Catherine trying to protect her daughter from? The next chapter looks inside the growing fears surrounding Princess Charlotte, and why this message may have been her mother's last defense. What's happening to Princess Charlotte? Beneath the carefully staged royal photos and polite public appearances, something more troubling has been unfolding. And Catherine, a fiercely protective mother behind palace doors, has been watching it spiral out of control. The target? Princess Charlotte, now just 10 years old, but already under a level of scrutiny that no child should ever face. In recent months, stories have quietly circulated about increased paparazzi activity near Charlotte's school. Unmarked cars, zoom lenses, photographers parked just beyond the legal boundary. Even routine drop-offs have been followed, documented, and in some cases, sold. But it doesn't end there. Catherine's inner circle is said to be deeply alarmed by a wave of online bullying, with Charlotte's images being lifted from official events and circulated on social media. She's become a target, one insider explained. And that's exactly what Catherine feared. The family has taken measures. Since stepping into their more senior royal roles, William and Catherine have been deliberate about controlling the children's exposure. Limited appearances, carefully chosen photographers, minimal school coverage. But it hasn't been enough, and Catherine knows it. The leaked message, "I can't protect them anymore," now feels like a heartbreaking surrender after years of quiet battles behind palace walls. A friend of the princess said, "She's tried everything, from security requests to media warnings, but the walls keep closing in." The most chilling detail? Charlotte's school routine was reportedly compromised not once, but 3 times in 1 month. And while the incidents didn't reach the headlines, they triggered a security review and possibly pushed Catherine to her emotional breaking point. This isn't about public life anymore. It's about a little girl who's growing up with a spotlight she never asked for, and a mother who feels helpless to stop it. And now, we're learning just how long Catherine's been struggling behind the scenes. The next part reveals the private battles she's faced, and how this message has pulled the curtain back on the part of her story no one saw coming. Catherine's silent struggles as a mother. For more than a decade, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has carried herself with perfect composure, polished speeches, elegant appearances, and graceful silence in the face of endless scrutiny. But behind that royal image, there's been a private battle no one saw. A mother quietly fighting to protect her children from a world that never backs off. Those close to her say Catherine has suffered in silence for years. While cameras captured smiles at official events, behind the scenes, she was constantly clashing with Kensington Palace advisors over one issue: the children's exposure. She reportedly pushed for tighter photo restrictions, refused press access at school events, and even had her team issue quiet warnings to tabloids. Most of those battles happened out of sight, until now. The leaked message changes everything. I can't protect them anymore. It's not a breakdown. It's a breaking point. These 6 words reveal what royal observers missed for so long. Catherine isn't giving up her duty. She's drowning in it. One royal insider described her current state bluntly. She's exhausted, not from the work, from the fear. The fear that she's failing as a mother while trying to be a princess. And it's not just about Princess Charlotte. Though the focus of the message seems to point toward her daughter, Catherine's concern has always extended to all 3 children: George, Charlotte, and Louis. But Charlotte, as the only girl and often compared to Diana, has become a unique media obsession. There's a kind of heartbreak in this moment that transcends titles. Catherine isn't seen here as a duchess or a future queen. She's just a mother whose voice, for once, wasn't filtered through palace staff or public relations teams. It was honest. It was real. And now the world knows. She's been holding back tears for far too long. But what finally pushed her to the edge? What moment broke the wall she worked so hard to build? In the next part, we explore the turning point, the event that may have sparked the message heard around the world. The breaking point. What pushed Catherine over the edge? In the weeks leading up to the leak, something shifted inside the palace and outside of it. Royal watchers were quick to notice Catherine's absence from several high-profile events. No explanation, no statement, just a quiet disappearance that loyal fans sensed was not normal. What they didn't know at the time, Catherine was dealing with a private storm. Insiders now confirm that 2 major events took place in close succession, and both involved Princess Charlotte. First, a security scare near her school that prompted an immediate tightening of protective detail. Second, a planned photo op that Catherine allegedly opposed but was overruled on by senior royal aides. The photos went ahead, and Catherine was livid. One former staffer revealed she begged them not to move forward. She said Charlotte wasn't ready. They told her it was important for optics. That decision, they say, was the final blow. It wasn't just about a photograph. It was about trust. Catherine believed her voice, the only one speaking for her children, was no longer being heard. That's when, according to sources, she sat down and wrote those 6 now famous words. I can't protect them anymore. What makes this so explosive is that it challenges the very image the palace has crafted for years. the image of unity, control, and mutual respect behind the scenes. But this leak proves that even a senior royal like Catherine can be pushed aside when media optics take priority. There are whispers that this breaking point may have led to serious private conversations between Catherine and Prince William, possibly even talks of renegotiating how the children appear in public going forward. A royal commentator put it best: "She was overruled once, but now the world is watching, and she will not be silenced again." Next, we turn to William's reaction. Because if anyone was blindsided by this leak, it was him. And his emotional response has stunned even those closest to the throne. William's reaction: shock, anger, or guilt. When Prince William first heard about the leaked message, the reaction was immediate and emotional. According to palace insiders, he was blindsided, learning about it not from Catherine, but from a royal aide who saw it circulating in private media channels. And his first response wasn't just concern, it was heartbreak. "I had no idea she felt this alone," William reportedly said behind closed doors. For someone known for his composure, this moment hit differently. People close to the couple say William felt guilt, frustration, and deep sadness that his wife had reached such a desperate point without telling him directly. Some even say it triggered a confrontation behind palace doors, not with Catherine, but with those who failed to protect her. It's no secret that William has always been fiercely protective of his family, especially of Princess Charlotte. He's the one who personally approved extra security at school, who's turned down press requests for interviews and footage of the children, and who once told a photographer to back off near their Norfolk estate. So to hear that Catherine believed she could no longer protect them, that was a punch to the gut. One insider revealed he took it personally. He felt like he'd failed to notice the pressure she was under. And now, people close to the family believe this message may be the reason William has skipped multiple royal engagements in recent weeks. Publicly, the palace blamed scheduling conflicts. Privately, the prince is said to be regrouping, emotionally and politically. But there's another layer to William's reaction: anger. Not at Catherine, but at the leak. Whoever released the message knew exactly what they were doing. They broke royal protocol, they exposed private pain, and they disrupted the palace's tightly controlled narrative. William wants answers, and fast. That said, some believe this leak may be the turning point that forces William to reassess how the monarchy handles its own children. Until now, it's always been about balance: public duty versus private life. But this leak has made one thing clear: the balance is broken. And now, with emotions running high, the palace is doing what it does best: trying to contain the fallout. But this time, the storm may be too big to silence. The palace in panic. Crisis control begins. The moment the message went public, Kensington Palace went into full-blown crisis mode. There was no time to plan, no press statement, no strategic rollout. Just one chilling quote flooding headlines across the world: "I can't protect them anymore." And the institution wasn't ready for it. Behind the scenes, royal aides were scrambling. According to reports, a media blackout discussion took place within hours of the leak. The communications team was told to monitor digital platforms non-stop, flag any accounts sharing the message, and push out new, positive content featuring the Wales children, but carefully curated and strictly controlled. That's why eagle-eyed watchers noticed something odd. Just 2 days after the leak, new photos of Charlotte were released, staged, smiling, and noticeably serene. But insiders say these images were not spontaneous. They were crisis content, designed to regain narrative control. It didn't work. The public saw through it, and sympathy for Catherine only grew. Meanwhile, security around Charlotte, George, and Louis was immediately upgraded. More escorts during travel, changes to school pickup routes, increased surveillance around their homes in Adelaide Cottage. And still, no one inside the palace could answer the biggest question: who leaked the message? Speculation is rampant. Some believe it came from a former aide, perhaps someone trying to draw attention to Catherine's hidden emotional state. Others whisper that someone in the extended royal staff had access to private correspondence and released it for reasons unknown. The palace is investigating, but silence remains the official stance. And then there's Catherine herself. She's said to be furious about how the palace is managing the fallout. According to one source, she feels muzzled by protocol, forced to stay quiet while others spin the narrative. She reportedly wanted to issue her own statement, but was advised against it, for fear it would escalate the situation. A former royal press officer commented, "This is the most significant internal leak since Harry and Meghan's departure. It's different because it's not about policy, it's about pain. And pain doesn't fade with spin, it lingers." As the palace scrambles to patch the cracks, a surprising twist is coming from outside. From a royal figure Catherine never thought she'd relate to. And what happens next might change everything. The role of Meghan and Harry. Unlikely twist. No one expected this twist, but in the wake of the leaked message, royal watchers began drawing a surprising comparison between Catherine and the woman once seen as her biggest rival, Meghan Markle. In the early days of 2020, when Meghan and Prince Harry stepped away from royal duties, one of the key reasons they cited was press intrusion and their inability to protect Archie. At the time, some inside the palace, including reportedly Catherine, didn't fully understand their decision. But now, the tables have turned. A royal commentator summed it up bluntly. History is repeating itself, only this time, it's happening inside Kensington Palace. The message, "I can't protect them anymore," sounds hauntingly familiar to what Meghan said during the Oprah interview in March 2021. "I just didn't want history to repeat itself." Back then, many believed it was a reference to Princess Diana. Now, it may also apply to Catherine, a woman once seen as the system's strongest pillar, now crumbling under the same weight. So what does this mean? Some believe this moment could create an unexpected bridge between Meghan and Catherine. While there's no known communication between the two since relations soured in 2018, insiders hint that the message has deeply resonated with Meghan. She knows the feeling, the helplessness, the frustration, and above all, the fear of failing your child in a palace built to protect the institution before the family. A source close to the Sussexes said quietly, "Meghan has more empathy for Catherine now than anyone realizes. She knows exactly how that feels." Could this lead to a reconciliation? It's too early to say, but the irony is impossible to ignore. The woman once portrayed as the problem may now be the only one who truly understands Catherine's pain. And for Harry? Insiders believe he has chosen to remain silent out of respect. But even he must see the parallels and feel the echoes of what once pushed him to break free. As royal watchers draw these comparisons, the world reacts. And for once, the sympathy isn't divided. It's united. The next part reveals how the public is rallying behind Catherine and demanding real change. The public reacts. Sympathy pours in. If the palace expected the message to fade quietly, they were wrong. The public reaction was swift, emotional, and louder than anyone inside the royal walls had predicted. Within hours of the leak, social media lit up, not with criticism, but with compassion. Mothers, fathers, and even former royal critics came to Catherine's defense. Posts flooded platforms like X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. One mother's viral tweet read, "Every mom knows this feeling. Kate just said out loud what we've all felt, and no one listened until now." Hashtags like hashtag Protect Charlotte, hashtag Stand with Kate, and hashtag Let Mothers Breathe began trending globally. Thousands called for stricter limits on press access to royal children. Parenting blogs and media watchdogs joined the conversation, demanding that Princess Charlotte, Prince George, and Prince Louis be taken fully out of the public spotlight unless absolutely necessary. The biggest shift, though, was emotional. People stopped seeing Catherine as a duchess. They saw her as a mother under siege. The woman who always smiled, always stood tall, was now revealed to be human, vulnerable, overwhelmed, and deeply protective of her daughter. And that hit home. A well-known royal journalist admitted on air, "We've all painted Catherine as calm, elegant, and composed. We forgot she's also carrying the weight of motherhood under a microscope." Even those critical of the monarchy found common ground. Influencers who usually call for an end to the institution paused to offer support. The tone shifted, not against Catherine, but toward the system that failed her. Inside the palace, this public wave didn't go unnoticed. Officials began quietly reviewing media protocols, including how often the children appear and who gets access. A senior aide reportedly said, "We've underestimated how connected the public is to her, not as a royal, but as a woman." This wasn't just about one message. It became a movement. And now, for the first time, the pressure isn't just coming from the press. It's coming from the people. As the public stands firmly behind her, Catherine faces a choice. What will she do next? Step back into silence, or step forward into something bigger? The final part of this story uncovers the path she may be preparing to take and what this means for Charlotte's future. Now that the message is out, "I can't protect them anymore," the biggest question falls on Princess Charlotte. What does this mean for her future? Because behind the emotional leak lies a much deeper issue. Is Charlotte still safe within the firm? And will her path through royalty change forever? Sources close to the Wales family say that Catherine has grown increasingly uncomfortable with how much exposure Charlotte is expected to endure. While Prince George, as future king, has his royal role mapped out, Charlotte's journey is far more uncertain. She's the only daughter, the middle child, and the one who's been publicly compared to Princess Diana since the age of 3. Now, insiders are whispering that Catherine is considering a shift, a major reduction in Charlotte's public role. This could mean fewer royal appearances, stricter controls on photography, and possibly even removing her from high-profile royal events altogether. One source said quietly, "There's serious talk about stepping back, not from duty, but from visibility." It's not unprecedented. Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, took a similar path with their children. Their daughter, Lady Louise Windsor, was largely shielded from the public eye, attending events selectively and receiving minimal media attention growing up. Catherine may be following that same model, a quieter, more protected childhood for Charlotte. This leaked message may also trigger a broader shift in how the royal family presents the next generation. After years of carefully crafted photo ops and public walkabouts, there's a growing belief that the spotlight has become too dangerous, especially in the age of social media. For Charlotte, that might mean the very thing Catherine has always wanted: space to grow without being watched. But there's another side to this. Some senior palace insiders fear that shielding Charlotte too much could damage the monarchy's carefully balanced image of family, tradition, and relatability. The Wales children are key to the royal brand, one commentator said. Pulling Charlotte back could change everything about how the public sees the future. For now, the palace has refused to comment, but those close to Catherine say she's no longer waiting for approval. Because when a mother says she can't protect her child anymore, she's not asking for permission. She's preparing to act. And now, the final question remains: will Catherine continue to stay silent? Or has this moment finally given her a voice the world is ready to hear? The final question: will Catherine speak out? For over a decade, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has played by the rules. She's smiled when expected, stayed silent through rumors, and carried the weight of monarchy with elegance. But this message feels like a turning point. A private cry that went public, a line crossed, a silence broken. And now the world is waiting to see if Catherine will speak for herself. She's never done it before, not directly. No solo interviews, no confessional moments, no tell-all quotes. But those close to her say that may be changing. One royal correspondent revealed, there have been quiet talks about Catherine taking more control over her voice. Whether that's a speech, an initiative, or a moment in front of the camera, something is coming. What form it takes is the mystery. Will she break her silence through a charity speech, subtly referencing motherhood and pressure? Will she release a carefully written open letter addressing public concerns without pointing fingers? Or will she do what Diana once did and speak directly to the world? The palace is walking a tightrope. They know Catherine's words now carry more power than ever before. After the leak, her public image has transformed. She's no longer just the poised future queen. She's a mother at war with the system, and the public has made it clear they're on her side. Some believe she won't need to say anything at all, that her next move will be the message. Perhaps we'll see Charlotte disappear from the public eye. Maybe Catherine will begin reshaping her own royal role, demanding more autonomy, more voice, and more freedom to protect what matters most, her children. But others believe a storm is coming, that this leak has unleashed something Catherine has buried for too long. Frustration, grief, and fury. And if she does speak, even just once, it could be one of the most defining royal moments since Diana's explosive interview in 1995. She's not angry, one insider said. She's ready. And so we wait. Because one woman's whispered message has now become a national conversation. And the next word might not come from the palace, but from Catherine herself. One message changed everything. Will Catherine finally speak? Or has her silence already said more than words ever could?